Hey there, my name is Andrew the Avatar. Today we're going to talk about the best website builders that you can use as a music producer for creating websites. Should you use something like Beatstars, Clickfunnels, Shopify, something else? We're going to dive deep today. Besides music production, my other passion from a young age has been web development. I remember in elementary school, I built my first website in the school library, which was for sports. I thought I was going to be like the next ESPN, and I don't know, I was like 10 years old, 12 years old, something like that. And I thought I was really building ESPN, and it was like a pretty bad website built on the little GoDaddy basic website builder, like, page builder. And of course, the site itself didn't make money. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just getting started. I was just a kid. But what was cool is I was even able to leverage that opportunity though, and I made some merch, like, I made t-shirts and stuff through Vistaprint, and I sold them in mugs and stuff. And so I made a little bit of side hustle money there, even as a little kid, just by having a website that, like, the merch could point back to, even though like the brand was not really good. The whole thing was kind of half-baked, and I was a little kid, probably the same way that like kids can sell candy bars for 5 times what they're worth. I did the same thing with t-shirts and mugs. At some point, as I was just making music over the next few years, I kind of lost my passion for web development, and I was like, I don't really know why I'm doing this. This doesn't really seem useful or fun like music production is. So I just kind of stopped. I got too cool for web development. But the crazy thing is when I started it again and started diving deeper into it, learning all the different platforms, learning coding languages, it opened up so many opportunities for me, both in music production and out of music production, that just were not there because I had pushed aside this thing that I was really pretty good at. It created opportunities for me to get jobs outside of food service, which is where I'd always had to work to make an income. But doing web development, it was easier work, and I could make more money just by bringing that skill set to the table. Eventually, I was able to apply it to my music to really help give my brand as a producer more fuel behind it and to create funnels to generate passive income for myself. Today, I want to share both these passions with you and help you find the best tool for your next music web development project. Hi, my name is Andrew. I started making beats over a decade ago while I was still in school. I was a starry-eyed kid who thought that overnight I'd be rubbing shoulders with Lil Wayne and Kanye. Years later, and tons of hard lessons later, here I am. I wised up and found what it really takes to make moves and grow in the music industry. If you're watching this, you're here for a reason. The internet has leveled the playing field, and with the right steps, you can take your music anywhere. So let's dive in and level up your game. So guys, here's an interesting statistic. There are more web development tools out there than there are songs on Spotify. Okay, maybe not that many, but there's a lot. And how do you choose the right one? Well, the first thing that we can do that'll help us decide what tool is right for you is to try and divide them up into some categories. First, there's tools that are made just for musicians, stuff like Beatstars, Traktrain, Bandzoogle, that kind of stuff. And then there's tools that are kind of more specialized or just general, like Shopify, Clickfunnels, Wix. These kind of tools are a totally different category of tools. Likewise, some of the music web development tools are specifically for selling beats, and others are more general for, like artist pages and that kind of stuff, more general music website builders. Among the more broad website builders, we have specialized builders and general builders. The specialized builders are more focused on a specific type of website or a more specific objective, where the general website builders are just more focused on building websites in a general sense. So let's take each of these categories one by one. When it comes to beat selling websites, for example, there's 3 major players. There's Beatstars, Airbit, and Traktrain. Each of these platforms is actually a whole marketplace. It kind of can be more like social media, but each of them at their most premium level have the ability for you to create your own personal website. Let's start with the Beatstars Pro Page. This is Beatstars' custom storefront that you can use to build your own website with your own domain, but still having the Beatstars backend technology to support you. Now, the biggest pro of this platform really is that it's easy to use. It has features that are specifically built for producers. That being said, I do find some of those features fairly limited, and on the design side, it is definitely restricted. It's not really like a full feature design tool as like some of the other stuff we're going to look at today. Still, I know a lot of producers who are very successful with this platform. It has simple pricing, and it's really built for producers. The next web builder in this category is the Airbit Infinity Store. This is Airbit's premium custom storefront, much like the Beatstars Pro Page. It's basically the same as the Beatstars Pro Page. It's easy to use. I'd say the design is a bit sleeker, but it does have less features. Beatstars has, I'd say, a bigger kind of network behind it, a bit better kind of back-end software stack that gives you more options for how you upload your files and sell your files. But I do like the Airbit design. Finally, we come to Traktrain. Out of the 3 of these, Traktrain is probably the easiest to use. What's interesting about Traktrain is that it has a referral-based system, so you actually have to be invited. You can apply for an invitation, or another producer can refer you into their system. But it's pretty easy to get into Traktrain if you really want to. I would go check it out. Look at producers who have stores on Traktrain. I do think the design of Traktrain websites are very cool. It's very unique, very motion-oriented design. There's often animations going around like crazy, but it is actually really simple. All it really is a playlist with buy buttons and a cool background. Because of this, it has the least features of the 3 beat selling platforms we've talked about, but sometimes less is more. And again, there are producers who are successful on all 3 of these beat selling platforms. Our next category is music-specific platforms that aren't really for selling beats. There's really only 2 worth mentioning here, which are Bandzoogle and a new player called Musicglue. I've personally never used either of these tools, but I've gone through and really looked at the features that they offer and applied my own kind of web design knowledge to it to make an educated opinion of it. Let's start with Bandzoogle. Bandzoogle is not for selling beats. It's really more for hero-style pages for a vocal artist or a band. While you can't sell beats through this platform, you can sell songs, you can sell your albums, you can sell merchandise, you can sell tickets to concerts. Overall, it's a good tool for artists and groups, but I do have to say it is limited. I feel like it's limited both on the design end as well as on the feature end, right? It's not like some of the other platforms out there that are a lot more modular and allow you to really do whatever you want with them and really build a business through it. I don't see this so much as a business, but more as kind of a brand page for an artist or group. A new player on the scene that I'm fairly impressed with is Musicglue. This is a fairly modern competitor to Bandzoogle. I have to say that the design is a lot more impressive to me. It relies a lot more on some fancy animations, and I think just overall kind of a generally better design direction. I know that's subjective, but I built a ton of websites, and I know that there are certain things that really resonate with the average viewer more just based on all the data that I've looked at, all the things I've tested, and I have to say that Musicglue does have very nice design. It's very simple. Again, it's really only for kind of bands and artists in the sense that it's not really to build a full business, but more so as just kind of a landing page for your business. A couple features that Musicglue added, which I'm sure Bandzoogle will eventually catch up to, or is even maybe already caught up to, are fan clubs and bundling, which I think are both pretty useful features for band or artist. You can have a fan club that's subscription based, kind of more like a Patreon style model, and you can also bundle products together, which is definitely a great sales tactic when applied the right way. So that functionality can definitely be useful for bands and artists if they choose to use this platform. Now, there are some honorable mentions that we should bring up that are kind of related but aren't really full website builders, but more like social networks. These are Spotify, SoundCloud, and Bandcamp. Now, these aren't really the topic of this video, but I do just want to say that depending on what you do, if you're an artist, if you're somebody who has a public persona as a musician, you definitely need to consider really putting a lot of investment of time and energy into these platforms to really have a strong presence there. Next, we're going to talk about my personal favorite category, which is specialized web builders. The big players here are WordPress, Shopify, Clickfunnels, and Kajabi. Let's start with WordPress. WordPress is the OG web builder. Before WordPress, there was either just basic options out there for a kind of more intuitive web builder, or it was actually code everything. WordPress is really the OG of the user-friendly web development space. It has by far the most features of any platform that we're going to talk about today. However, I do have to say it is probably the most complicated platform we're going to talk about today. Often there's a better tool for the job, but WordPress is kind of the Swiss Army knife of web development. The platform was originally built for blogging, it was really for bloggers, but over time it's just gathered such a large amount of plugins and features that you can do almost anything with it, but truth be told, sometimes it's going to be harder to do what you want to do with it. Versus the other specialized web builders we're going to talk about, my biggest criticism is that it's not based on income generation. Shopify, ClickFunnels, and Kajabi are all about making sales, and WordPress has that functionality with the right stack of plugins, but it's just not really what it's about. So it's kind of the most general builder, but because it is the most general, it in a sense becomes a specialized builder. Next, let's talk about Shopify. This is where I built my website, bensoundwaves.com. It's honestly probably my favorite platform here today, although I'm really passionate about all the ones in this category. And I only talk about platforms that I think are decent today, at the very least, if not great platforms to build a website on. But Shopify, this has got to be my favorite. I of course combine it with other website builders, and I believe that all of these are effective when used the right way and at the right time. Now, this is my honest but strong opinion, is that Shopify has the best backend for actually running a business. It is really valuable for actually having products and making sales and running marketing campaigns. Like WordPress, it has a ton of plugins, which is super valuable. A lot of these other builders don't really have the ability for third-party developers to come in and add features. Only Shopify and WordPress really have it to this extent. And so that's one thing that's really valuable about Shopify. One of my personal favorite plugins is Gem Pages. I believe that Gem Pages is a must for anybody using Shopify. It basically allows you to have a very deep level of customization into the look and feel and functionality of your pages. Overall, Shopify has a massive feature set, and another plus is that it has a massive company backing it. I think, I can't say this for certain, but I'm almost certain that Shopify is the largest actual company on the list today. Last I checked, their market cap was over $100 billion. It's a toss-up between this and the next platform we're going to talk about, which is Clickfunnels, but I'd say this has to be the most sales-focused platform, the one that's really most focused on actually running a business. Next up on the list is Clickfunnels. Now, Clickfunnels really changed the game, and I'd say the biggest compliment I could pay them is the tremendous amount of educational materials that they've created as well as the members of their community have created. Even when I'm not building on Clickfunnels, I apply principles that really gained a lot of momentum within the Clickfunnels community. Basically, the idea is that Clickfunnels is for building funnels instead of websites. So like where a website is kind of more of a full-featured home for a business, a funnel is more specific process that you take customers through where they have to make decisions. They have to make yes or no decisions when going through a funnel, whereas on a website they could maybe be more distracted. This has resulted in some of the top websites on Clickfunnels just being massive revenue powerhouses. What's important to understand is that Clickfunnels serves a specific purpose, but it doesn't do everything. However, with the right strategy, it's extremely powerful, and in some ways it can do more faster than anything else on this list when applied with the right strategy, but it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it is possible. The final specialized builder that we have to talk about is Kajabi. This is the big gun for hosting a course. If you're running a course, Kajabi is the place to do it. Like if you're, teaching people how to make beats or how to market beats or how to play an instrument or how to sing. A lot of these people are running their courses through Kajabi. I've seen people on Kajabi completely flop, and I've seen other people go off and make millions of dollars through this platform. It has an advanced feature set and often requires really bringing a lot of different pieces together. Like for example, some of the people I've seen do best in Kajabi are actually running Clickfunnels into a webinar into Kajabi. And so like Kajabi is kind of more the place to host the content, but not necessarily to sell it. My honest opinion is that this platform is best for already established influencers who are building high ticket products. Now the last category we have to talk about is general website builders. This includes platforms like Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, and Strikingly. If I can be entirely honest, I don't use these platforms. They're not necessarily bad. Again, they're just kind of more like an all-purpose tool. And if I'm looking for an all-purpose tool, I'm gonna go for WordPress. As all-purpose tools, they're not necessarily bad. I just think it's important to choose the right tool for the job. And we've gone over a lot of tools. So the question is, how do you choose the right tool for the job? How do you actually choose which website builder is best for your website? Well, ask yourself what you need. Are you trying to sell beats? Then maybe a platform like Traktrain, Beatstars, Airbit is going to be best for you. However, even if you're selling beats, you might be trying to separate yourself from the pack, in which case a platform like Shopify or Clickfunnels could be better. Do you want to build a branded page for an artist or band? Well, in that case, one of the music builder platforms we talked about might be best, or a platform like WordPress or Shopify. Are you really looking to build a serious e-commerce business in the music industry? Well, in that case, I've got to recommend Shopify, Clickfunnels, or Kajabi, or maybe even a combination of all three. What's really going to help you narrow it down and make a decision is to get familiar with all of the different tools and really identify which ones have the features that you most need. Marketing an online business is a very deep science. It's like a rabbit hole. You can go in so many different directions down it. So really you want to identify the goal and move toward that, because if you just keep exploring and searching and trying, you're not going to get there. So you need to have a goal, and then you need to get familiar with the tools and figure out which one is best for that goal. It's really this simple. Commit to start and always keep growing. I had many websites flop before I had my first one make money. I really had to learn all these different platforms to identify which ones are best for what I want to build, for the things that I want to do. And it took a lot of trial and error. It may take you some trial and error. You might strike gold sooner. But the truth is that the more that you can just keep working at it and having the consistency, having the confidence and courage to just keep working at it, eventually it will stick, and eventually you'll start to see those things that do work. The more that you commit to growth, the more that you commit to your goals, the more that you'll be able to find the tools that work best for you and actually make progress with those tools in a way that really matters. One reason I've been able to make money with e-commerce as a young producer is because when my friends were going out and spending $1,000 on PS5s, I was spending $1,000 learning how to run Facebook ads. Here's the thing, music producers, building a compelling website is only part of what it takes to be a great producer. You also have to commit to growth day in and day out and keep learning in all these different areas that are part of what it is to be a music producer. So if you want to keep growing, be sure to click the subscribe button down below. Also, while you're here, I want to tell you about my book, The Daily Producer 7. I want to give you a free copy of this to help you apply those habits that are going to help you grow every single day as a music producer and become the producer that you want to be. Move toward your goals. Get those records out that you want to get out there. This is the book for you. So grab the free download link down in the description and start reading, start learning. I'll see you next Monday.